What in the world are we doing here, TCG? Another week, another question of what in the world are we doing here. Make sure you guys smash the little crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So most of you sat through here last week and you had the same initial thoughts I did, and it was, where in the hell are our Stampede reveals, Konami? Konami, in my personal opinion, and I think most people's opinions, they dropped the ball with this set. You know, we got excited. We got all those reveals during the YCS in Europe. Oh, that was exciting. And that was it. There was nothing else. You don't have to have a marketing budget to plaster a picture on social media and get people excited. All right, you're already paying a graphic artist. This advertising cost nothing to Konami. And they marketed Stampede as this huge set that got the votes of the community together. You know what the most messed up part was? You could have spent an entire week, an entire 2 weeks going through the entire voting process and been like, all right, the top 10 cards voted on by the community, number 10, and done that each and every day. And I'm disappointed. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired that you market this game out here with, you know, full intention to do all these exciting things. You get the community excited. You know, you release ban lists during live streams. You get the community pumped up, and then you just shit the bed in other times. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. All right, and this is why people call Konami an indie company out here, because, you know, the truth of the, you know, situation is just, there's so many good decisions that you expect good follow-up, and they're just like, oh, Stampede, most anticipated set of the year, you guys voted for this? Nah, nobody gives a shit. It's how much they value the community some days, in my opinion. It's just, it's such a fumble. And like I said, it does not take a marketing genius out here to realize you could have done this, and it could have worked out. So let's talk about this Masked Duelist series that's been going on out here. Now, for those of you that kind of stopped paying attention to the Master Duel series that they do, they have these tournaments with the Masked Duelist out here. And with the Masked Duelist, you get the opportunity to, you know, have like the grand finals and unveil who is underneath the mask out here. Well, we had a tournament, I believe at this point in time, it's a good couple weeks at this point in time. You know, we went through this entire thing, and it's just it. It was on 3-8 was the last thing, and then on 3-9 we had the top 32. That was it. That was. There's no unmasking at this point in time. Most of these Masked Duelist series, they're usually done 2-3 weeks after the top cut, and they set the stage for the later date out here. And this is actually where we got our last ban list announcement, was during the reading the description. I cannot believe, no matter how many puking horses that, you know, this indie company receives out here, you know, once again, I ask you, why is this so important to, you know, the community? Well, if the Masked Duelist series, the thing that gave us the last ban list, isn't even scheduled right now to tell us who the current Masked Duelist is, then that means that there's no hope out here for receiving a ban list date. Man. So that's now two things that we've dropped the ball. We don't have, you know, the Masked Duelist series isn't even like that great of a thing. It's cool to always see, you know, who they got the budget for, but we don't have an end date for the next one to see what's going on, to even get a glimmer of a ban list. So speaking of the ban list here, and this is what my point was tying into with the Masked Duelist series. So last time, Konami gave us the ban list date for, in the description of the Masked Duelist series. Well, there's no schedule of that. Okay, Vegas was a perfect opportunity. Oh, wait, there was no live stream for Vegas? Oh. Okay, well, what about, what is it, Houston's coming up here, first week of April? What about there, Robbie? Is there an opportunity for a list there? I mean, at this point in time, it's possible, but Konami's not giving a hint of this list. Most of these streamed ban lists at this point in time have been extremely short-minute decisions. And now the OCG has gotten another list. And I got to give it to the OCG. They fixed their bullshit. OCG straight fucked up with Artifact, Scythe, and Summon Limit, leaving those cards around for the longest time, and they fixed their problems. I don't see... The problem right now is the TCG has just left these problems sticking around for so long. Like the Fiendsmith package, for example. We haven't cleaned that shit up yet, and we're still dealing with that. All right? Yeah, I'm tired. I'm disappointed of seeing, oh boy, Engraver out here. And this was the same thing that happened, literally copy and paste from last year. We're following the exact same pattern. National season is right around the corner. The minute that May touches down, you're not going to ban list until possibly after June. Because Konami's not going to want to fuck over the European countries. It's as simple as that. Why would you want to start a national season and then go, ooh, oops, sorry guys, we gotta go ahead and clean up the mistakes that we made out here. You can't do that. All right, which means two things here. And I don't like either of what is possibly going to happen here. So the first one going to be the TCG is going to be stuck in this format until the end of June. Holy fuck, I don't want to see that, nor do I want to deal with that. That means that the TCG would be dealing with triple Bonfire, 777 Tachyon. You're going to be dealing with the craziest and most powerful version of Rizal that never existed in the OCG. The crazy part about me complaining about this and talking about this right now is, more people are attending events right now. More people, even though people don't want to deal with Rizal, attendance is up right now. Because when you lose to Rizal, it does not feel bad. And that's a crazy thing to be thinking about right now. Is even though Rizal is just, it's so sideways and needs to be checked or at least reduced in power scaling, that it doesn't feel really bad to lose to. It's like, oh, well, if you had the Metaltronius, you rip apart the big guy anyway, and there's not really much of an issue with that. Number two, we get a ban list, and it's going to be so minuscule out here that it's not going to matter. I don't mean to say this, but, I'm losing faith again, man. I expect Konami to, clean up their problems. Now that the OCG has removed Rizal and Mouse, these will not be competitors that we will have to deal with at Worlds this year. And in case of the TCG, we won't have to see Yummy taking over Worlds because, well, practically we might have to see Yummy taking over Worlds. Depends on when everything kind of lines up for that. I don't really... These deck build packs are benchmarks in the cycle of things out here in terms of Konami's design platter. They use these sorts of sets to, obviously change up the market. Core sets really feel like they don't have as much impact as they used to out here anymore. So I'm left disappointed. I'm left disappointed because, we love Yu-Gi-Oh! And we want Yu-Gi-Oh! To grow. And, we get excited about, something like Stampede out here, where it's marketed as this huge, exciting product by Konami to get people, get players excited. Your vote, you counted for this. And we're left in the dust, wondering what's going on with this. The events that Konami sets up for the players to get players excited, things like the ban list, their communication has gone down the shit. I'm more at this point believing that we know more. Well, even though we have reveals and things dropping in the Stampede, I feel like Konami's we're going to take our marketing budget. You know what? Stampede's going to do good enough. People voted for it. We don't need to do anything for it. We can just go ahead and we can put all of our marketing budget into Alliance Insight. That's right, everybody. It feels like we're done with Stampede already. Alliance Insight, we already got 1 to 2 arts of Mitsurugi, and they're like, hey, we're done. All right, call it a day. The Chibi art, we've already released all the Chibi arts. Wash your hands, you're done with that product. And then they're like, oh, hey, we're on Duelist Advance already. That's the national set. That's where we're focusing. 1, 2, 3 products that have already been flushed. That we're just what's going on? I'm confused. I'm tired. And I'm just going to leave you guys with this thought. You're within 18 days, basically, 2.5 weeks of this set supposedly dropping. And we know nothing. Yeah. Nice indie company.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.